All avid readers, our next guest is Ace Atkins, an award-winning New York Times bestseller and author of Don't Let the Devil Ride. He joins us now to tell us why you should read his next book. Welcome, Ace. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, in what way is Don't Let the Devil Ride a new, exciting avenue for you?
Well, this is my first, I guess, what you'd call standalone book in a while. So it's not based on any of the previous series that I did. But I think it's a fun book. It's kind of the book that I would look forward to reading during the summer, which it's international intrigue. You get to travel to Paris and Dubai, but also a lot of it is set in a city that people know, which is Memphis, Tennessee. And it involves, crooked arms dealers, which I guess they're all crooked, a great seasoned private detective, and a wealthy woman in Memphis who finds out her husband has been lying to her for the last 10 years. So it's all the ingredients that went into the book, and I think it's a funny book.
I love that. That's very cool. I like that writing a book that you want to read, right? That's very, very cool. So is it accurate to say it's part mystery, part crime novel, and part psychological thriller?
I wouldn't say a psychological thriller. I mean, it's kind of, I would say, what they call in the business kind of a domestic suspense meets international thriller. But at the core of it, I think there's a lot of black comedy and a lot of satirical humor in it. The woman who's involved, this is not your typical thriller where she's really that upset that her husband is missing. She's more really angry that her husband has been lying to her for the last 10 years. So this is not a gasping and clutching, where's my husband, and running. It's filled with a lot of very, very eccentric characters, including this woman, Addison McKellar, who's really just trying to hold her life together.
So Memphis is very much the soul of this book, right? So why did you set the book there, and what is its importance to you personally?
Well, Memphis is right up the road from me. I live in Oxford, Mississippi, which is where the University of Mississippi is, but it's less than an hour from Memphis. So Memphis is my home city. Oxford's my hometown, but Memphis is my home city. But I've always loved Memphis. I've been here for 25 years, but it's a place I've always been fascinated by. Just the word Memphis evokes ideas of classic soul music and Elvis Presley, and even down to getting some good barbecue ribs and soul food. And it just is a currency. And I think even like when I travel in Europe, people always ask me about Memphis, and you see so many people coming to visit the town. But I find it's a quirky, kind of edgy, wonderful place. It's situated right on the Mississippi River. It has a lot of great culture to it. Unfortunately, has a lot of has a lot of crime. So it's definitely a place it's good for me to write about.
Very interesting. So your book's a suspense thriller that alternates varied viewpoints and shows, it shows your facility getting into character, right? So was that a challenging approach?
No, I mean, I've always written from, multiple characters. So it's funny, one time I went to a book signing and somebody said, hey, were you a former U.S. Army Ranger, and were you a turned sheriff? And I said, no, that's just one of my characters. That's not who I am. I said, I'm also not a drug kingpin. I'm also not a runaway teenage girl. I'm also not, but I am all those things. I am all those things. I embody them. I think for this book, yeah, I mean, there's Porter Hayes, the detective in his 70s who knows Memphis. There is the rattled, wealthy woman, Addison McKellar. There's a former co-star of Elvis who made a movie with Elvis in 1968, who's scrapping her way through Memphis society. There is a French arms dealer who has to come to Memphis. There are some assorted Russian thugs. So I get to write about all those people. It's kind of like being a character actor. You get to get in the shoes of some really interesting people.
It sounds fun. It sounds really awesome. Ace, so where can folks find your book?
The book is available everywhere. You can find it online at your favorite retailer. You can find it at Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. But of course, at your, always glad to support the local independent bookstores as well.
Excellent. Thank you, sir, very much. Guys, go out and get Don't Let the Devil Ride. And if you want to catch this segment again, head over to FCN Plus.